First of all, so you don't think I'm going completely mad, today is the 29th of December. I don't know when I'm going to release this, so that's why I'm telling you that, because if I start talking about Christmas and New Year and all these things and suddenly it's the end of January, well, you don't have to think I've completely lost my mind. I've just got back from Christmas, been away for a few days, lovely break. I hope everyone else has had a really nice, relaxing, festive period of whatever kind you're having. And I had some really productive ideas. I was going to make a dent into my January and February videos. I was going to do some scripting, some recording, upload some stuff to the website. And, well, I find myself in the workshop talking to you guys, which is infinitely more fun. And I promised I was going to do something a little bit different with Patreon in this year. One of which is going to be doing up some old tools. So I thought, well, what's more fun than doing actual work? And that's, well, playing. So I've got the little block plane, and out of the tool haul, I've got the rusty old axe. Now, I have to make this work two ways. I have to show you guys what I'm doing, which, by the way, is not a how-to, because I'm just going to do the bare minimum to get these workable, because I guess that's something that people might find interesting. My way of getting old tools and turning them into the tools that you see on my wall. Users, tools I actually genuinely use. I won't be trying to restore them back to exactly what they were, as in painting them and getting them pristine, all of that. I just want to make it so that I can use them, especially with the block plane, but also with the axe, because I do want to try a little bit more hand tool woodworking. So the first idea of this is to show you guys, but the second one is that I want to make these into reels for Instagram and Facebook. So I need to get enough footage while I'm showing you what I'm doing to then be able to cut it all down into about a 2-minute montage, which is where it gets a bit tricky, because the camera I'm talking to you on is the one I'd normally use for the close-ups and the B-roll and all of the stuff that you see on those sorts of videos. So I've got my phone out, and I'm going to take you along for the ride, and I'm going to do the absolute bare minimum to see if I can get this little block plane first up to a workable tool standard. So let's see if this works. If it doesn't, well, we'll have an episode either which way. Let me just get this camera on. I think the first job is going to have to be to clean this up. I generally tend to just use a load of vinegar, which I've got in a spray bottle, and fresh water to rinse it off afterwards. And then once I'm happy everything's clean, I'll then put it through with a bit of oil on it to make sure it doesn't rust. But let's get this thing set up. Let's see if I can't take this thing apart. Might bring you guys in a bit closer as well, to be honest, so that you can really get a look at what I'm doing. So it's got this lever cap with a beautiful little spinner on it that tightens the lever cap down onto the iron, which I think has been used as a scrub plane. See, it's got a nice curve to it. Probably won't see it perfectly, but let's clean it up. Let's have a look at these first. Right. It's not the best start. Right. I'm just going to use these Scotch-Brite style pads. They're not perfect. I could really do with a brush, to be honest, like a wire brush, but I don't have one. But what I want to do is try and take all the grease and grime and horrible stuff off without actually losing anything nice here. Like the nice blue of the record Japanning. Anyway, it's got a nice blue tint to it. But it also has about 50 years of muck on it. Not too worried about the sole because I'm going to have to flatten that anyway. It's when you really need running water in your workshop, and maybe a set of gloves on before you start. I have a feeling this is going to get sped up in the edit at some stage. tend to do this job first because it is the worst. If you do the iron first, this job at the end suddenly breaks your spirits. So I like to do this one first. If anybody's keeping count, we're technically 9 minutes in to what I probably thought would be an hour or so, depending on how much grime we've got in here. Well, it's certainly coming up quite blue. Shouldn't be a surprise, seeing as it started off blue. I'm already further into this than I would have been for anything but a video. It's definitely made a huge difference. Right, lever cap time. Oh, I've just noticed it's got a little chink missing here. Probably do no difference to the way I use it, but it's a shame. Might knock it down from £3 to about £2.50. But somebody's hand has worn this from blue to silver. That's a lot of effort and work. I love that, really do. And there's a reason, another reason, apart from the ripping gloves, that I'm not wearing them. Is I think it will rile people on Facebook. I think it will really make them cross, seeing my filthy hands dealing with this. And that is how you get comments, apparently, so I'm told. And comments get your views. I want great big gouges in it. Probably should soak this. Now we've got to decide while we're doing this, are we going to keep it as a scrub plane? Or does it become flat? A flat-ended. First, a bit of water. Leave that for a minute. Here's my idea. This, I don't think it's worth cleaning it up on, well, with our hands. I've got these that are quite harsh. I've also got a 400 and a 1000. These are not my regular sharpening. Oh, what am I using vinegar for? These are not my regular sharpening stones. These are small ones that I've had years, that I now use for my refurbishing. Let's try it this way. Two points, right there and right there. That's all right. All we really need is this. There's a big old hollow. Not even going to worry about this. Don't think we're ever going to get it off. We'll lose most of the iron trying to do it. That there. That's good enough for me. That's actually way better than I expected it to be. I'm just going to clean the bevel up. None of this is for sharpening. And you'll probably think I'm mad. But I've never hand sharpened a scrub plane. So I'm trying to start at one corner and work my way to the end. So I'm pressuring from this end, finishing on this end. So start on this corner, feel it flat. Now this bit is important. This is the base, right? We need to see how flat this truly is. Now where's my Sharpie? Okay, let's assume this stone's flat. It's as close as I can get it probably. Right, here's your issue. The toe is not, the edges are, or sorry, not the toe, the front. The toe, yeah, toe. The heel isn't. That's a problem. The sides are absolutely lovely, but the back of this mouth needs to come off. You see? You see the sharp lines down the outside. Now, I need to take this to a bit of a harsher stone, I think, first. Oh, that's so close. I want a bit there. Not worried too much about this corner. I want a bit across this bit. I think that's pitting as much as anything, because there's no, hang on, there's no marker pen there. See this? I've covered that with marker pen now. See, no marker pen. I'm going to call that good for now. 600 and 1,000. Probably not going to do it as well as it should, but towel's not working for me. One thing to notice with this iron, I'm wrapping it from side, I'm rolling it from side to side to concentrate on my keeping it as a scrub plane. I'm noticing that the burr isn't coming off, not easily. Tell you what, you won't be able to see it there, I don't think, but there's actually a micro bevel on the back, unbeknownst to me, which is why I can't get the burr off. I think whoever had this before me, I think they've put a micro bevel on the back here, which, yeah, I didn't spot that. That's my fault. Easy job. We need this. Now I've made a massive micro bevel. I don't even know if it's called a micro bevel, but either way, I've made it so that the front 5mm is now touching and is the only bit I'm flattening. Right, this will be the bit that shows. I'm now just going to press on my corner fingers as I'm going. So this is my left press, right press, and then the middle, and then I'm rolling it between them. And I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but it's just working with feel. So I made a pretty good bodge job of this blade. I think in my own time, I'm going to grind this blade down, because that micro bevel that whoever's put on it is actually so steep, I don't even think I've taken it off. It's my excuse anyway. He says dropping the iron on the table. Right. Well, we're cutting hair. Well, we need to fix this up and not have it rust. This will get a few comments. I'm just going to smear this with some beeswax. Normally, I use 3-in-1. If anybody who's watched Paul Sellers, he puts it in a can with a rolled up rag in it. I've always thought about making myself one, but I've never got around to it. So, this is me. I'm using this, but yeah, 3-in-1 oil is what I use normally. And I don't tend to get a huge amount of rust on my tools, even though I'm in an unheated through the night shed. So, I don't know, read into that how you will. Pretty sure I'll be dropping these left, right and centre though now, because they'll be slippy as anything. Has to be followed by wax off. Now, did anybody take a before photo? Because I didn't. I'm such a noob at this Facebook thing. Pretty sure you're supposed to do a before and after photo to then show people how much of a big difference you've made to such a tiny tool. Right, let's just put this on a block of wood so people don't completely lose their minds. Bevel up. Noob. Cog in. Right, give me 20 minutes while I set this up. What we had so far, 45 minutes this has been. I'll take that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start with it out, and we're going to use a hammer technique because I know how to do that, just about. Right, nothing. Pretty sure this is not for Facebook now. This is just between me and you. So, let's get that horrible piece of sapele back up again. Pretty sure, yeah, I'm very sure actually this is not, this is the worst piece of sapele I've got in this workshop, I think, and I haven't even checked the grain direction. So, what do we think? Oh my lord. I'm pretty sure I'm bludgeoning that. Can't tell you which way the grain direction's going on this, if it is even. God, can you hear that? I know we're going to start out a bit. Oh, that's better. Okay, we've got one comparison here that needs to be made. This is my everydayer. Like this is my Stanley. Straight blade, sharp iron. Oh, this is so much easier. This is okay, but it's not particularly comfy because it hasn't got any. See, this has got the finger indents on the side, so it's got and it's a bit bigger, and you can push a back against this curve. This one, the curve's kind of on the top. You have to put your thumb on there, especially when the iron's this hard. Do you know what? I'm going to put a flat iron on this. I'm going to forget about the Facebook thing for now and do a proper job on it. That was 52 minutes work. You've probably watched that sped up. The body itself will last me. If I wanted to use it, that's as simple as it is to get a junk hand plane into working order. But don't be me. Spend a bit more time on the iron. Sole and iron, they're the two. I'm probably telling people that have got more knowledge than I have on any of this because you guys are the paid members, and I think most of you have been doing this at least as long as me. But if I've learned anything from doing up old tools, and I don't mean doing them up to being pristine, doing them up to get a job out of them, iron and sole on hand planes. That's pretty much the bare essentials. So we dealt with this yesterday and I went to bed and slept on it. I didn't like the way it performed. I have to say, this is a particularly horrible piece of wood to do any kind of testing on because the grain goes that way out and that way in, which is why I've never used this piece of wood because it's a pain. So it's never going to give it a fair and accurate kind of assessment, but it wasn't sharp. I didn't enjoy using it, and I know it's a test because it doesn't have that adjustability. The modern ones do, but I've taken to tapping it with an axe to make me feel cool, but could have used a hammer. Anyway, I've had a tinker with it. Didn't like it. Took it back to the grinder. Realised that my issue was that I was trying to keep the rounded iron. And in doing that by hand, instead of just taking it to the grinder and rounding it like you would normally, I guess, I I messed it up. I just didn't get it sharp enough across the entire width of it. I think because I had one mind on doing the reel instead of just doing a refurb with you guys, yeah, that's on me. So, what I've done, and the reason I'm not showing you this is because I'm going to show you the completed reel straight after this, which I think is quite fun. So I've taken all of that crap out about keeping the rounded edge, all of that out of the reel, and I've just taken this to the grinder. I've flattened off the iron. I've put a-ish 25-degree camber on it. It's whatever it had on it before. I've gone fairly close. Mine is a rubbish grinder, so I don't know how accurate it is. Anyway, I've then taken it to my stones, put it in a guide, put a decent angle on it that is the closest I could get to the grinder. So the grinder did the bulk of the work, and then I honed it on the stones, and then took it up all the stones to 1000 grit, put a micro bevel on it. You know the score. The reason I did it, and the biggest reason, yes, it wasn't working with the curve on it, but also whoever had it before me put a micro bevel on the back. And I don't just mean the ruler trick that I always do. They actually, once I'd done the ruler trick, I was looking at it, it was bugging me. I couldn't get the burr off. Didn't really say much about it in the video yesterday, but somebody had put a steep micro bevel on the back. So even with the ruler trick, I wasn't touching the important bit, the last, I don't know, 1/10 of a millimetre. So no matter what I was doing to the back, I was never getting two shiny surfaces meeting, which is where you get your angle on the iron that does the work, the blade, if you like, the sharpness. So I flattened it, and in taking it flat, I knew I would lose that micro bevel because I'm going to lose a significant amount of the metal, maybe, I don't know, 0.5 millimetre. So I've done that. That's in the reel. And now, after waxing the sole, which is I forget every time, it makes it significantly easier on any wood. If you've got any plane and you wax the sole, I've now got a working block plane. It's not perfect, and it makes a heck of a noise going across this horrible bit of wood, but this isn't straight grain. The grain goes this way, it's up, it's out. It's doing all right. And this is to show you how much the wood is making that look worse than it is. Bear with me while I get something much, much easier. Because in all honesty, if I wanted to fudge this to make me look like some expert hand tool refurbisher, I'd just put a piece of pine on there. Something soft, something easy. I mean, this is taking a pretty heavy shaving right now. And pine makes it look like I've done a wonderful job. Whereas actually what I've done is a average to okay job. Let me get something else to show you it on. Oak, tiny bit of oak. Seems to be low on scraps after my scrapwood projects. But this is kind of what you're going to use it for, is a lot of trimming down some edges. Once again, to comparison with my other block plane, this is taking a heavier shaving still. Goodness knows what I was doing with it last. It still doesn't have that heavy duty feel. It seems like I'm working harder. Maybe one-handed it's easier. I don't feel more controlled. Do you know what I'd like to do? I'm not going to. I'm not going to put you through it. I'd love to take this little plane, go back to the stone, take it up to, I don't know, as high as I could possibly go, and just see if I can get it razor sharp, because I love the look of it. I don't hate the feel of it. I would have to use it with, two hands. It could very easily become, I don't know, it could very easily become a plane that has one specific job. So maybe it's for heavy chamfers or light chamfers, or I don't know. I'd like to give it a use, but the tap method instead of the winding method, for me, that's a bit of a pain, but it is an attractive little plane. Anyway, here's the reel. Tell me what you think, or just watch it, see if it's the journey you've seen me do, and, well, I'll accept any feedback. It'll be the end of the video at the end of the reel. Hope you enjoyed the video as usual. Didn't get to the axe, that'll be the next one. I've enjoyed making it, and it's a little insight hopefully into the half-ass clean-up jobs that I do on a lot of these old tools. Have a great week. I'll catch you on the next one.